to Scrapyard Diecast Racing. Semifinals.
As always, I'm your host, Barnabas Stone.
And this is me, your co-host, Frederick Allen Setup.
This is our last semi-final race. Today, we will find out who will fill the last spot in the finals for a chance to win it all.
And don't forget, I have a super secret bonus at the end of it all. But before any of that, let's take a closer look at the racers competing today. Up first, it's someone not racing for glory, but for money. It's race car driver for hire, Louis Tokar, driving for Oriana Flub Racing. He's in the GRX, rumored to be the fastest car in the world. And Mr. Tokar showed us just how fast the GRX was way back in race number 5, when he beat He-Man, the most powerful man in the universe. And Mr. Tokar will be up against the leader of the gang of assassins, Assassin number 1. That car might only have 3 wheels, but it's as agile, tricky, and tough as a Sherman tank with a jet engine. And speaking of military vehicles, let's not forget, he beat Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe in the very first race of this tournament. And let's really not forget that his car isn't the only tricky thing in this tournament, because in race 3, his teammate, Assassin number 2, took out the Scooby Gang and then self-eliminated so his boss could get a free pass into the semi-finals.
Now that the introductions are out of the way, let's get up to the guillotine gate and get this race started. Here we are, race fans. Starting off in lane 1, it's Assassin number 1. And in lane 2, it's the GRX.
Barry, the safety crew did their track pre-check while we were doing the racer intros, so this race is ready to go. Hit it, Alvin! Alvin! Alvin!
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin blocks! Whoa! GRX pulls through! GRX flies off the track!
You know what, Barry? They're tunes. I'm sure they're okay. They'll be good as new before we finish the replay. Right? Right?
If you say so, Al. Can I just say, that was quite a way to kick off these semi-finals. And the best part is exactly 0 cameras were destroyed during this heat.
Cameras, Barry? Cameras? That's what you're worried about?
That's what I'm worried about first, Al. Second is look at the way they both shoot out of the guillotine gate. We could see as soon as the guillotine goes up, the assassin immediately goes for a block as they make their way down Nevada.
And that move sends the GRX sideways into the bottleneck.
But then coming out of the bottleneck, Assassin number 1 miscalculates and hits that final barrel and sends him violently flying off the track.
And he goes hard into the junk and sends junk and dust flying everywhere. Luckily, all ninjas know the tuck and roll technique, so I'm sure he's just fine. He's fine. Right, Barry?
If you say so, Al. But who was fine, at least temporarily, was the GRX, because he takes Carmine Corner in reverse, and while gaining speed. Yet regrettably, it proves to be too much speed because he launches off the tarmac at Clunker Canyon, resulting in our second explosion of dust and junk.
Don't jinx us, Barry. Don't say explosion. I'm sure he's fine. He's fine. He's fine. Right, Barry?
If you say so, Al.
But what's not fine is our scorecard, because with neither racer crossing the line, no one gets to put up a win.
Here we are back at the guillotine gate for Heat 2. It appears we have a lane change with the GRX in lane 1 and the Assassin in lane 2. And look at that, Al. Everyone is as good as new.
See, Barry? I told you they'd be fine, and they're fine.
If you say so, Al. Now, someone else who has something to say is that chipmunk with our countdown.
3, 2, 1, go!
GRX blocks!
GRX rolls!
GRX stalls out! Assassin hits the clunkers!
He hits the wall! He stalls out! And just barely crosses the line! Wow! I need to see that again! Well, we were able to keep everyone on the track.
And more importantly, our cameras are still intact.
As they come down Nevada, the GRX waits until the last possible moment and executes a beautiful pit maneuver, sending the assassin spinning as he enters the bottleneck.
But the GRX is made for straight line speed, not handling. So he can't swerve fast enough, and he barrel rolls his way through the bottleneck.
And this is what I wanted to see again, Barry. The GRX's pit maneuver looks like it was really effective because the assassin's car was stalling out at the center of the turn in Carmine Corner, and then the GRX coming in hot bumps him so hard that it kickstarts the assassin's car, and it's the GRX that stalls out.
And when you get rear-ended by the fastest car in the world, it's gonna give you one heck of a kickstart, because he goes flying through Clunker Canyon. Even sideswiping a few clunkers along the way does little to slow down the assassin.
Well, what does slow down the assassin is the final metal barrier in the boulevard. He hits it hard, and it shuts off his engine immediately. Plus, he had just enough momentum to ricochet off the opposite wall and just barely get one wheel over the finish line. That might be the first time in Scrapyard history that a car stalled, not once, but twice in the same heat and still managed to win.
And with that win, the assassin is first to put something up on the scorecard.
Wow, that last heat certainly heated things up. The GRX has no hope but to put the pedal to the metal and let it all burn, because he needs to win this heat to force a tiebreaker.
The racers are back in their original lanes with the GRX in lane 1 and the assassin in lane 2. Good luck, gentlemen.
3, 2, 1, go!
Assassin spins!
He's off track!
GRX all alone! Watch out!
Oh no! The camera!
Wow, Bob! Wow, Bob! Emergency! Emergency! We need you!
Don't you worry none, son! I'll get the trusty old yellow jacket up into the great blue yonder, and me and the rest of the safety crew will get this sorted out by the time you and Mr. Rulebook do the replay!
I really hope everyone is okay.
Don't worry, Al. We have the best junkyard racing safety crew on the planet.
Don't we have the only junkyard racing safety crew on the planet?
Exactly. And that automatically makes them the best. Now, let's look how once again the GRX was able to execute a pit maneuver as the assassin was trying to cut across coming down Nevada.
And as the assassin goes into a wild, uncontrollable spin, the GRX bunny hops his way through the bottleneck.
And assassin is unable to hold on and flies off the track. I've been informed he flew clear off our property, so luckily it won't affect our insurance at all.
Is that what you're worried about?
Well, you said so yourself, Al. Every ninja knows the tuck and roll, so I'm sure he's just fine. Moving on. Just like the GRX who moved on so fast through Carmine Corner, he actually broke the sound barrier with a sonic boom.
And going that fast, there was no way Mr. Tokar could have hoped to keep that car on the track. I said at the gate he needed to put the pedal to the metal, but I did not mean this.
Right, Al. Instead of putting the pedal to the metal, he put the whole GRX through the bottleneck cam. In fact, he was traveling so fast, I don't think the camera even realized it was hit that hard, because somehow it took a moment for us to lose transmission.
And that trusty cam did give us some beautiful footage of the biggest wreck we've ever had in the history of the Scrapyard.
And unfortunately, that trusty cam is no more, up in a cloud of fire and smoke.
The camera? What about Louis Tokar? Let's check in with Wild Bob and see if he has any updates. Bob, Wild Bob, can you hear me? What's the word on the GRX? Over.
Well, he was a hired driver, so it looks like Miss Oriana Flub will have one check left uncashed.
What are you saying, Bob?
What I'm saying is, he went from being the driver of the world's fastest car to laying down as a passenger in the world's slowest Cadillac.
Do you mean...
Yes, sir. I'm saying that tune has been erased.
Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna be sick.
Not in here. We already have to replace a camera. I don't also want to submit a bill for a new carpet. Well, fans, it looks like with that explosive conclusion, no one puts a win on the scorecard. Luckily, the assassin had a win from a previous heat, making him tonight's overall winner. He has just secured his place in the finals. If he can find his way back onto the property, he'll face Speed Buggy the next time we meet. If you've made it this far and you've enjoyed what you saw, won't you please leave us a comment and a like? Or better yet, subscribe to the Scrapyard so you never miss a race. It's been my pleasure being your host tonight. This is Barnabas Tone on behalf of myself and my currently getting sick in the bathroom co-host F. Alan Seto, saying good night and thanks for watching.